Hi, it's Sophia, and I'm on a mission to share 50 things that I've learned that have helped me heal. Number 43, justice and anger, a new perspective on anger. So, many years ago, I had this long, epic 4-month miscommunication that ended in a huge fight, and I lost my mind for 17 hours. I cried, I popped a blood vessel in my face. It was this epic moment. And then I woke up the next day and realized that I had been kind of broken out of my own personal cage, that this anger that swelled in me broke down these walls, and I realized that I'd never allowed myself to really feel the depth of the anger I'd felt in my life. I'd always kind of been like a nice, good girl to a certain extent, though not entirely. I also would get mad, but the depth of it was definitely new. So I spent the whole summer trying to purge my anger and get all of this anger out of me and get away from me and away. And my mother stopped me and said, Sophia, anger, you can't get rid of your anger. I mean, first of all, you can't as far as I'm concerned. But also you don't want to, Sophia. You see, anger is really valuable. And anger shows you where injustice is. It's your own compass. So I took that in and I was like, okay, so anger shows me injustice, which inadvertently also shows me justice, that there's this very important kind of visceral experience that I have. So over the years, I've kind of broken down this understanding of the value and the benefits of my anger response. So when I'm angry about something, it's not necessarily that there is some, because I don't really necessarily believe in these absolute truths, but I have my personal experience, which is that something has happened and I experience that as injustice, and then I get angry. So 1, I experience injustice, I get angry. 2, that is a reflection of a boundary that I have, a limit that I have that has been crossed. That gets crossed and I'm I'm angry. And that can be very personal. That can be hey, don't use my stuff and break it without asking me. Or it can also be that same very personal experience can be hey, don't destroy my planet and then lie to me about it. Also creates anger. Okay? 2, it also shows that I have a boundary that's been crossed. And 3, I had this moment working with my therapist a few years later where I was I'm angry and I get it, but I'm still angry. We talked about it. I feel I should be over it. And she looked at me and said, well, Sophia, the anger you're holding on to is you're bracing against it. You're not convinced it won't happen again. It's not only has it crossed a boundary, but you're holding the anger in anticipation of that happening again. And so I realized that the third step in the value of working with anger is then actually establishing boundaries and then keeping them to the best of my ability. So again, crash course, new perspective on anger. Leave questions, post comments, let me know. I'd be happy to break this down more if anybody wants to know more about it. Be well, Satnam, love to all, light to all, and peace to all. Be well.